Welcome to Boxing Fans Talk TV. I'm your host, T to T. You can refer to me as Miss T. Oh, may I send a shout out to summer. God, it seems like it's coming early. I don't know where y'all be, but shit. I'm over here baking. My whole house is baking. I was wondering why I was walking slow motion, but yeah, I had to break out the air conditioning. At this point, I don't even care how much it costs. You be trying to be conserving on energy or whatever, because in these parts, you know, air conditioning and, things like using your stove and oven, run up your electric bill. Your electric bill be like 3 times as high in the summer months. But you know what? It's just gonna have to be high. If I gotta get a loan to pay the electric bill, it's just gonna have to be high because one thing I can't do is oven roast the house. But anywho, shout outs to air conditioning. But y'all see what we talk about today. We talk about a couple of things. But I just want to give y'all some news and some things I thought was important, because I know in the coming days, these things might be talked about. But before we get into all that stuff, let's turn to Welcome back to Boxing Fans Talk TV. As I say all the time, I'm your host, T to T. Y'all can refer to me as Miss T. Who is a hot day? Ooh, Georgia. Lord have mercy. I don't know where y'all be right now, but Lord have mercy. I don't think it's going to get no cooler. I had to break down and turn on the AC. That's the little game we play in Georgia. We try to see how long we going to go before we have to turn on that dreaded AC, because electric and water triples in the summer. Always. You be coming out sorry for burping. You be coming out the summer making payment arrangements on your bills and shit. That's crazy, right? I could care less. Like I said, if I got to take a loan out, I'm about to put one in. My house is on. It's damn near on hell. Because I had it set for the heat, right? I never took it off heat. You know how you can set your temperature but your house, the air conditioner or the heat don't turn on because it's at a set temperature, and only when your house reach that temperature do it activate whatever. Well, it been sitting on heat, and there was no need for the heat to come on. But shit, that motherfucker was on hell today. I know I ain't put it on there. I was like, damn, I was wondering why I was walking in slow motion. Hot. Renew Sartors is in the building. What's poppin', King? He said, let's go, Queen. Salute to the chat and the panel. What it do, King? Yes. Y'all know we always start out with water check. Y'all know my usual. It's so damn hot. I don't even want to go through the whole spiel. That's saying something. But the 2 times to drink water, first thing in the morning and once at night when you're about to go to sleep. Believe me, the water acts as a lube, a lot of moving parts, a lot of good things going on. That's why if we'll drink water any other time during the day, we should drink that. Stay hydrated, y'all. It might save your life. Straight up, like on these type days when your body temperature get to elevating or whatever. Something that you notice when you get older, and I don't like to sound like, I'm just an old broad always complaining, but it's weird because I'm at that stage in my life where I'm not old, I'm not a senior, but I'm not a spring chicken, but I'm in that middle stage where you get a taste, you have a little bit of taste of both. You're not quite out the young stage, so you still have remnants of that or what you think you could do, but you get a taste of being older. This shit is a trip. And one thing I can say I've noticed here lately, if your body temperature elevates, that ain't something you can deal with. Not when you get older. When you young, very easy. Never bother. You can be at home and be like, ooh, it's hot. Your mama be like, don't touch that air conditioner. That's one thing you don't do in a black person house. Back in my day, you don't mess with no phones, and you don't mess with nobody their electric, their thermostat. But your temperature, when your body changes temperatures, like I be wondering about that for menopause, like when women, when we get a certain age, because that's exactly what happened. You go from regular temperature to hot to cold and back hot. Like you can do that shit in 30 minutes. But God know what he's doing, because it's not like what I'm talking about here. Like my body temperature was probably rising and just getting hot. That's probably why I was walking in slow motion. But menopause is more like a irritating thing. I don't even know if I ever even been to it, because like once you turn like 40, you start having premenopause. I don't even know why I'm talking about this shit, but it is a weird thing too, because he was sitting there. I've had that where I'm sitting there and all of a sudden I'm just hot for no reason. Ain't nothing changed. And then I got it like ice station zebra up in this bitch. Can't nobody else come through the house. They feel like they walking through the North Pole. Now I know how my mama felt. It's funny how the human body works. But look, I welcome all them changes. I wear it with a badge of honor. Anyway, how y'all doing? How y'all doing this fine Tuesday day? Let me make sure I got my days right, because it's so goddamn hot. It might be Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? So look, so this is something, in the morning every day, I get up and I read a bunch of articles. I read articles from everywhere. And I try to glean what I think is important, what I think could be coming down the pike, what people could be talking about in the near future and everything. Before I get into that, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. When you catch me on replay, hit the like button and leave a comment. Be sure to leave a comment. Tell me how you feel either way. I'll read them all. A lot of y'all email me instead of, or text me some other kind of way, but on the replay. Leave them comments underneath so I can go back and watch, so I can attribute what you're trying to say or are saying to what the actual video was talking about. But yeah, so don't forget to do that. Lean on that heezy when you step into the heezy. You know, hit the like button when you step into the square circle. There's always more people watching than what y'all hit the likes. Come on, man, get them likes up. Show that black love. Let's get them likes up. But you know, I thought that this article in particular was important. I wasn't looking for it. There was nothing put out about it. I'm not saying that any of the other channels are talking about it, but I feel like it can be a topic of conversation. So, I call myself trying to make sure I debunk or get rid of BS. Now sometimes, whoever you are, we all be on here speculating and guessing and, having an educated guess as to what, the news or the information we receive, what it's about and what it means. But a lot of people, they're not good at this kind of work. That's a nice way to say it. Some people are good at this type of work. We call it speculating. It's an actual job, in America and been around since this country's been in existence. Speculation is big business. It's the stuff that the stock market is built off of, businesses, housing, everything, property ownership, gaining property or getting rid of. It's everything is based on speculation, not to mention gambling. So some people are good at this shit, period. And some people are not. It takes for somebody else to tell you. Like, I find it funny when somebody else step up and say, oh, I'm good at this, I'm an expert. Sometimes it's funny, but they know themselves and they can speak on it. But it's really better too when other people say, oh man, that's a hidden talent for you. You pretty good at that stuff. And I can tell you, I've been told that many times over. In fact, that was my main job, speculating. I was an analyst, formally trained. And I really can't talk about what kind of analytical stuff I did, but nonetheless, some serious shit. So when I come across these articles, I don't just think about right there. As I always tell you guys, I'm a history major. And when you get into the higher echelons of history, studying history or, getting your credentials, they teach you how to ask the pertinent questions like who, what, when, where, how, which is all the questions anyway. My favorite question is always the why. And my answer to finding out accuracy and truth is to say, follow the money and ask why, meaning what's the intent? What's the point? If you can answer those two questions, then you know the answer. So when I read, I'm just giving y'all a little view into how my mind works. And when I'm reading some of these articles, why I bring to you guys what I bring to you. And that might be different from other channels and what they do and how they bring, information to you. But this is how I do it, because I'm under the notion that when you know better, what you do better. So what caught my eye today was the clean boxing program. We all know that that's with the WBC and VADA. They have a clean boxing program. And the first article I caught was actually the second one for this month. So I was saying, damn, if it's a number 2, then it has to be a number 1. So let me go find the number 1, the first. And I found it. And it said clean boxing program report of negative tests in the month of March. And I was like, wow, they got a whole web page and everything. I guess it's under WBC or whatever. Of course, WBC work in conjunction with VADA. You know that if you're going for the WBC belt or you have the WBC belt, you have to be in the clean body program. That's a stipulation in messing with that particular sanctioning body's belt. So I'm going to just read what it says. The WBC wishes to inform everything related to the clean boxing program. And on this occasion, we notified that during March, 39 random tests, and we have received results from the following fighters who came out negative. So they want us to know that they did 39 random tests. And then they're going to tell us out of those 39 who got a clean bill of health, right? The WBC has an agreement with the VADA or WADA, however you choose to pronounce it. I guess it's like kind of Spanish, you know. I've heard them say WADA or VADA. The WBC has an agreement with the VADA, which is the Voluntary Anti-Doping Association, in charge of administering the clean boxing program, which coordinates the collection of samples, the custody and analysis in laboratories. That's it in a nutshell. In order to be down with the WBC, you got to be down with taking VADA testing randomly. And it's voluntary. It's voluntary. You don't have to. But if you don't want to, then I guess you don't want to be down with the WBC, because that's the stipulation. Now, what makes you raise an eyebrow at all of this is because look what has happened in the past couple of years. Canelo went from a fighter that I thought was okay, that I liked, to a fighter I don't like. You know, you could call me hating, you could call me whatever, because he catches favor when he shouldn't. You know, he out there. He can do what he want to do. He has special privileges nobody else has. You know, and I don't like that. That shit like that irks me. So, you know, we know that he got caught with clenbuterol in his system. And what did the CEO of WBC sanctioning body, aka Mauricio Suleiman, say? Well, it was such small trace amounts. It was the allowable amount. There is no such thing as allowable amount. That's what they gave for Canelo. For any and everybody else, your allowable amount is 0. So, as a boxing fan, how are we supposed to take this type of stuff serious? Because look at how they doing, and it don't escape our attention that Canelo is Mexican, and we often refer to the WBC belt as the Mexican belt. And if we didn't think so with Canelo, they turn right around and have the same issue with Oscar Valdez. Not only did he get to keep his belt, he got to do his fight. He actually, in my opinion, lost the fight. Not just my opinion, a lot of people's opinion. And nothing happened to him. Nothing. That's where we get when we talk about are you on that tea? Are you sipping the tea? He thought he was gonna go that route, but he had to think about it. Somebody probably hipped him. Be like, dude, they waiting for you to say one name. Say Lipton. Say Snapple. Say somebody's name, and watch how they sue the fuck out you. Because Oscar Valdez want the world to believe that he was sipping on some tea, and that's how he got the banned substance in his system. When really he was doing something nefarious from the jump. But hey, he is the right complexion for the protection, or the right race for Mauricio Suleiman, aka CEO President of the WBC, aka Mr. Cantone from Harlem Nights. That's what I like to affectionately call him, Mr. Canton. But as y'all heard me read, this new this first testing that they did in March, because apparently every time they do testing, they're gonna come. They have this web page that you can go to and see who they tested and who came out to the good. They said they did 39 random tests. On this list is, let me count, 7. I only have 7 people showing up on this list. So the first question I'm going to say is, where the other 32? But I digress. So February 28th, and I guess they're going to, collect the ones from the last days and the previous ones. February 28th, Mansour Elsaab, and I'm going to spell his last name because I know I butchered that. Elsaeb. March 2nd, Dillian White. March 3rd and 9th, Tyson Fury. March 5th, Roman Gonzalez. March 5th, Julio Cesar Martinez. March 9th, Shakur Stevenson. March 13th, Alicia Baumgartner. Those are the people who made the list, the first list that came out in March. And at the end, it said, we sincerely thank all our fighters for their entire willingness to register with the CBP, which stands for Clean Boxing Program, and above all, for being exemplary athletes who testified to their honesty, but also thank VADA for their dedication and hard work. Again, I'm going to read this first sentence. The WBC has an agreement with VADA, which is Voluntary Anti-Doping Association, in charge of administering the Clean Body Program, which coordinates the collection of samples, the custody, and analysis in laboratories. The WBC wishes to inform everything related to the Clean Body Program, and on this occasion, we notified that during March, 39 random tests, and we have received results from the following fighters. So, who came out negative? These are the results they saying they received. So, boom. 7 out of 39, those are the results they received. That was the first test. Let's mosey on over to the second test. I could read the same heading, but y'all know I've already read it. It's a repeat. This time is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 10. So maybe out of the 39, they just randomly getting these results here and there, and they're going to release them as they get them. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. March is over. We should have had all the results out, I'm assuming. March 18th, Yordanis Ugas. His fight is coming up this Saturday, April 16th. So when y'all out there talking about who was VADA tested, because you do know that Errol Spence has the WBC belt. Yordanis Ugas was tested March 18th, and he passed with flying colors. March 18th, Adelaide Ruiz. March 19th, Brian Brown. March 21st, Oscar Valdez. So he has a fight that's coming up, I want to say April 30th, with Shakur Stevenson. But we know now that he tested March 21st, Oscar Valdez. So they got his ass on the program, finally. March 21st, Dillian White. March 21st, Tyson Fury. They seem like they tested Tyson Fury a couple of times, but with that snake, you got to do some shit like that. March 21st and 25th, Jermell Charlo. Okay? I don't see Brian Castano, but I know Jermell twice have tested in the month of March. and he passed with flying colors. March 22nd, Maricela Cornejo. Sorry if I butchered your name. Maricela Cornejo. March 23rd, Shakur Stevenson. March 24th, Jerron Ennis. So we know these fights that some of these fighters got coming up. This is the second test that they release results for the month of March. And those are the people who pass with flying colors. We all know they got fights coming up and everything. I think that that's important. So my thing is, are they now going to start putting out who tested clean twice a month, 3 times a month, or however many times it takes to get all the participants' information out? You know, why I'm asking that is because it has the propensity to look suspicious, to start something you cannot finish. What are they really, saying? This is how I ask my questions. What are they really saying? Can they continue this? Is this going to be a permanent staple way of doing things? Before we can start narratives and spin and propaganda on any fighter, this is something we all, as boxing fans, can go right to Google and Google this information. I was like, what are they really saying? Are they saying, look, these are people we tested and got results back? So anybody we don't have results on is because either they didn't participate, we weren't able to get them, or their test probably is coming back negative, and we want to double check and triple check. Coming back positive, and we want to double check, triple check, and quadruple check before we put out information. You know what I'm saying? Because let's just talk about the fights that's coming up this weekend. And I'm not shitting on Errol Spence, but his is a good example to use. Errol Spence has a WBC belt. That means that he has to participate in VADA testing, the clean body program. I don't doubt that Errol Spence is a participant. Maybe his results haven't come back yet. I'm just telling you, out of the list, they gave 2 lists this month. His name is not on it. And his fight is this week. I hear people say, oh, look at his nipples. People may call them weight bullies or whatever. This would be the perfect time for him to be on somebody's list. And I have no doubt that he was tested. I just think that the list is updated as it's updated. If they're going to do this permanently and continuously, I'm cool with that. I wonder how you guys feel. But if this going to be something they just did this month, then I'm going to have to ask why. Why did you do it just now? What are you really trying to say? What's your point? What's your intent? You know what I'm saying? Tell us what you really think. Or better yet, who are you low-key singling out or squilling on? What happens when your or my favorite fighter don't make the list? And I'm going to throw Terrence in there. Terrence wouldn't be on the list because he doesn't have the WBC belt. And right now, he's not in line to get it unless you're going to talk undisputed. But that's for Earl to decide after he finishes business with Ugas. As I said before, I have Errol Spence winning that fight. But, we never know. I don't count Ugas out all the way. I believe Ugas believes he gonna change things around. I believe Earl would edge him no matter where they fought. But Earl, this fight going down in Texas. Texas is never gonna let Ugas win, even if he win. That's just my opinion. I'm not making excuses. That's just my opinion. I say that about the ladies who fought the other night. I say that about everybody. That's just how I see it. So then I say, what's the intent? The intent is the backlash. See, this is what I mean by the fans. You are being heard. You got to keep doing what you're doing. Keep your foot on people's neck. Keep pushing your narratives, especially when you know you're telling the truth. Get away from clickbait. That serves no purpose. That's not even a phrase or words that I ever grew up on. And I'm almost, sometimes I feel like I don't know enough about the phrase to keep even using it, but I think that's what they call clickbait when you're trying to entice somebody to tune into you. Well, in regards to the YouTube content creators, I think when they say clickbait is when when a person tries to entice you into watching their shit with lies or misinformation or embellishments. Get you in there, now you're there, or they throw innuendos or allude to the fact, everything but the straight facts, straight truth, no chasing. I think that's what they mean by clickbait. If I'm wrong, y'all let me know. Let me know in the chat what it means. Remember to hit the like and share and subscribe button if you haven't already. I always have this phone number up, but I gotta make sure that I have a phone. I don't know why I do this every time. Let me put it up. Let me put it up. I don't know. I be getting beside myself. So, the phone lines are open. Sometimes people rather call than they'll rather be in chat or beam in. Let me put the invite in the chat. So yeah, I found that was interesting because to me that's something new. I don't know about y'all. Maybe Miss T missed that. Maybe y'all Miss T. That's old. They've been doing that. I get up every day and read so much. I've never seen it. And for me to run across this little nugget, I was like, okay, wow. You don't say so. I thought it was important. It is a little nugget. It gives you the quick, fast, and the hurry. It makes life easier for you so you don't fall into those dangerous pitfalls of being baitish. I just made up a word. So when you be like, Earl Spence is taking something. Before you let that pass your lips, go to that website. As a matter of fact, I probably need to I'm going to copy and paste and put it in the chat. So then you guys can have it too. And you ain't got to depend on nobody clickbaiting y'all to death and shit. And that way you have it. And before you speak on it, you can be like, well, hold on, that's a quick, easy check. Let me check this out. There y'all have it. I don't know if it's blue on y'all side, it's black and gray on this side, but that's the website. And y'all can go to that website if you want and look it up yourself. As I say, what is really the intent? I won't like it if it ain't consistent. Because I'm going to think it ain't fair. And what innuendos are you? I'm going to think something nefarious going on. Because you're not going to come out this. Well, I got 2 lists for the month of March. And then we don't hear nothing in April and May and June and July. I'm like, well, what was that all about? Who was you really low-key trying to squeal or drop the bomb on? If you're genuine, that shit'll be out every month. And it's just a click away. So now, when you hear some of us as content creators say some things, we don't have to speculate. We can just go to the list. Then if we do say something, we know, y'all know that we are speculating. There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I'm speculating here. I'm just guessing here, blah, 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 blah. I say it all the time. Meaning, I didn't talk to Bud. I didn't talk to Earl. I didn't talk to David Benavidez. And if I did, I can only show you and tell you what we talked about. But to come off like I got the inside track when a lot of us don't. Some of these content creators do have inside tracks or whatever, but some of us look like we biased. I don't think I'm biased, but somebody might think I am. You know what I'm saying? I really, and I can say think. I know I ain't biased, but somebody might think I am. But I definitely can look at some of these channels and say there's some bias going on. Now to each his own. I ain't got a heaven and hell to put you in. But here at Boxing Fans Talk TV, we don't do bias. We have to be objective, not subjective. And that's what we aim for. We humans though. Every human makes mistakes. Sometimes you can be biased and don't even know you're biased. So I don't hold it against anybody, but I will if I hear something and I know it's false or I know it ain't quite right, or sometimes I won't even speak on something unless I know for a fact, like I know like the back of my hand, or I'm pretty sure that I got a good idea of what's really good. And even then, I'm going to say I'm speculating. Y'all hit that like button. If they consistently bring it out, we will be able to determine, do we even trust it? Once you bring it out, it's a nice looking page. Matter of fact, let me see if it's supported by the Better Business Bureau and all that good stuff. It's not, but it has a telephone number. I'm assuming it's a Mexican address. It got all the handles on it: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and it's got the WBC logo on it. At the very top in the right, it got the Spanish flag and the UK flag. So I'm going to just safely assume that it's the real deal until otherwise shown. But if it turns out that what I just presented was some hogwash, you will hear from me. Hey, y'all, that was some fugazi shit I put out the other day, and blah, 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 blah. I don't mind being wrong. I'm human. What I can't say is willful ignorance. And you could be, when you're ignorant or you dumb, those are choices. Being remedial, what they used to say when I was growing up, retarded. But I think the better word nowadays, correct me if I'm wrong, is to say somebody's remedial. Those are not choices. That cannot be helped. But you can help being ignorant and you can help being dumb. And, so willful ignorance is not an excuse to me. When you can just do certain little things, like look it up, or if you don't know, don't speak on it. Or, if you really ain't sure if you're guessing, say I'm guessing. Save a lot of people time and energy and arguments that they don't need to have with other folks they don't know. PGH is in the building with Poppy King. He says, salute Queen T. Salute to you too, King. So we was just talking, PGH. I don't know if you caught some, about how the fact that there's a website, and I guess it's ran by the WBC, about the clean boxing program. And twice this month, they put out a list of who all that they tested and who came back negative, like clean bill of health for VADA. Then they say we're in April, so I guess they gave a tally. This is what I'm assuming. The way it read, it makes me think, oh, it was 39, but only 7 of y'all did it. Then only 10 of y'all did it after that. But I'm going to assume, and as you see how I say, assume. And that's me making an educated guess. It's nothing. I didn't lose no sleep over it. I didn't hurt nobody. If I'm wrong, I can be corrected. But I'm going to assume that 39 people in the whole month of March took the test, and these are the results. And I'm going to read them again. Out of the 39 people in the first test that came out in March, February 28th, Mansur El-Saeb, that's spelled Elsaeb. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, Mansur. March 2nd, Dillian White. March 3rd and 9th, Tyson Fury. March 5th, Roman Gonzalez. March 5th, Julio Cesar Martinez. March 9th, Shakur Stevenson. March 13th, Alicia Baumgarten. From that first list of the clean boxing program ran by VADA for the sanctioning body of the WBC, those people were tested and their results came back clean. They are deemed clean. The second group of people's names that came out, March 18th, Yordenis Ugas. We know that Yordenis Ugas is fighting this Saturday. He is on that list as having been tested and came back clean. March 18th, Adelaide Ruiz. March 19th, Brian Brown. March 21st, Oscar Valdez. We know that Shakur Stevens and him have an upcoming bout April 30th. And of course, the eye's gonna be on Oscar to make sure he ain't sipping that tea no more. Well, him and his opponent, Shakur Stevens, have both tested in the month of March, and they both came back clean. March 21st, Dillian White. March 21st, Tyson Fury. Now, I know y'all noticed that Tyson Fury has been on there a couple of times. Hold on 1 second. I'm getting a call. God damn, fucking answer. Hey, I just started my show, so can I call you back? Hello? Yeah, can you hear me? Hello? Wait, hello? Can you hear me? Huh? Wait, my damn phone. Hold on. Hello? Can you hear me? Now I can, girl. My phone keeps disconnecting. Hey, I started my show. I'm in the middle of my show. Can I call you back? Oh, shit. My bad. Yeah, I just got done. All right. I'll call you right back. All right. What was I? Sorry for the interruption, y'all. What was I saying? Oscar Valdez and Shakur Stevens. We know they got a bout coming up, and it's important for us to know that Oscar gets a clean bill of health when he get in there with the young lion Shakur Stevens. They both tested I was gonna say positive, negative, meaning they tested and they were clean for the month of March. At least a month or more out from their pending date. Dillian White, and I was on Tyson Fury. This will make the third time he tested me in March. It seemed like 3 times for him. But with a person like him, shit, 3 probably ain't enough. You got to test that mug every day. March 21st and the 25th. Here we go. Jermell Charlo. Jermell Charlo has tested twice in the month of March, and he came back clean. His opponent is not on this list, unless some more is going to come out after this. But this list just came out, the second part. March 22nd, Maricela Cornejo. March 23rd, Shakur Stevens. That would make the third time for him. Jerron Ennis, March 24th. Like I told the rules about who got a test and how they got that whole thing set up. If you're going for the WBC belt, that's part of your stipulation. Anybody in line to go for or have or receive the WBC belt has to be a part of the VADA testing, the clean body program. That is their stipulation for that sanctioning body. And I just read y'all a list of people who have tested in the month of March, and the fact that they came back clean, meaning they got a negative result, and they got fights coming up. Some of these folks, the biggest fight coming up is this weekend: Jordanis Ugas versus Earl Spence. Well, Jordanis Ugas was on the list. He was the only one. So, I mean, all of this is relevant. As I say, if you're not going to do it consistent, it's going to make folks raise their eyebrow. Like, why are you doing it at all? If I missed it, then I'm sorry. Because I'm waiting for somebody to say, Miss T, that list always come out every month. I've never seen it. Now it's very easy. I put the link in the chat, the bigger link. The first link that you see, that's the beam in if you want to beam in. The second link is the link to that webpage any one of us could go to. So you really don't have to speculate. You don't have to embellish. You don't have to make up nothing. You can just state that facts and then let us as fans determine what we think about it. I know my eyebrows is raised, but I'm going to look at it like as they get information in, they release it. I'm fully believing that Earl Spence took his test. We're just waiting on the results. But the fight is this Saturday. So who knows? But you guys are left to think what you want and how you want. But I thought that was important. Again, don't be doing it this March and then we don't hear from y'all again till October. That's going to make, if Mauricio Suleiman or anybody from the WBC are looking, that was actually a good little nugget right there. See, I will criticize anybody constructively, but I will also praise you when you do well too. I think that was good. What you guys think? Do y'all think that that's a good thing to have available to the fans? I don't care where you are, who you are, what country you in. That website is available to you. Do y'all think that's a good thing? What y'all think? Tell me. I happen to think that was a good call. Whoever made that call to put that shit together, because it's simple. It says some simple stuff. It say who the folks is probably sponsoring the website, why they doing it, and what their little program is to let you know, hey, with the WBC we have the clean boxing program, and these are the people who made the list this month. We could bump that shit up against whatever they got coming down the pipe in the future. So before we say, oh, this motherfucker don't even, I got wonder if he using drugs. We ain't gotta wonder. Especially if you with the WBC. I think that's good. Now, maybe the other sanctioning bodies should have a joint venture with VADA or USADA, whoever they choose to use, to say, hey, if you're gonna get with the IBF or the WBO or the WBA, you gotta voluntarily be a part of this clean boxing program with USADA or with VADA. I think the others should, but them doing it and me thinking it is two different things. WBC can come off looking legitimate by even being a part of something like this, but where they tear their draws is when they make excuses for particular fighters, namely people who are Mexican descent, because Mr. Cantone, aka Mauricio Suleiman, president and CEO of WBC sanctioning body, he favors Mexicans. In fact, the headquarters for the WBC is in Mexico City. And when we see him make allowances for certain fighters who happen to also be Mexican descent, but not for whites, Not for blacks. Not for others that you can name. Just Mexicans. You throw the legitimacy out the window. And as a favorite thing I like to say, coercive force without legitimacy can never stand. That's real talk, y'all. You can apply that or make it applicable to any discipline in life: school, job, relationships, your particular country's politics. It's just like that. You're never gonna have no worthwhile, long-lasting relationship if all that's in that relationship, regardless of who throwing the blows or laying the hands, if that's going on. Some people be like, well, my parents been together 40 years, Miss T, and my daddy always slapped my mom. You don't, when you hear that statement, don't go to literal meaning. It means in general, it will never stand. And guess what? In the end of the day, your parents was never really together. Depends on who you ask, if that's the case. Because I don't know no woman sitting back rocking in her chair, ready to tell her grandbabies what a wonderful marriage she had and how great her husband was, who was beating her ass throughout the years. She glad his ass gone, or she glad the shit over, but she don't think highly of him at all. That's why I say coercive force without legitimacy will never stand. When Mauricio Suleiman make allowances for Canelo in front of the world, make allowances for Oscar Valdez in front of the world, going against their agreement, whether it's verbal, written, or as my friend always called it, the gentleman's agreement between VADA and the WBC, going against what VADA doing. VADA did their part. They randomly tested those dudes. WBC stepped in and intervened and changed the rules at halftime. You just threw the legitimacy out. But if this is a way to get back to some legitimacy, make sure you have the punishment that fits the crime that go along with violations. You make sure you bring that back and put an emphasis on it. Otherwise, this is a shiny penny, nothing to see here. And if it's legit, you will see a list come out at least twice every month. Because that voluntary clean program, that's all year. Whether you fighting or not, to my understanding. If I'm wrong, again, let me know and I'll apologize and say, oh, I got it kind of wrong. But to my understanding, when you in that program, you can be randomly tested all year. And it don't matter that you take a trip, taking a trip, going across the world to visit whatever, kind of like them Floyd Mayweather trips. They don't get you out of it. They'll fly to you. They probably even charge you for that shit too. Ain't no getting around it. That's how it's supposed to be. So I told y'all what it was, what's happening. I told y'all what would make it legitimate. I gave y'all the website. You ain't got to take my word for it. Go look it up yourself. So when y'all hear these narratives being pushed, you got your own brain. You can stop and think and say, well, that's not true. And it might even stop people from even embellishing on the truth. You know, so like I said, the latest person that I heard an innuendo or somebody alluded to the fact that they might be on some shit, you know. People love to talk about Earl Smith's nipples or whatever. I never said he was on that shit. I never thought he was, you know. But I just never thought. I never thought either way. You know what I'm saying? But I don't have to think about it. Now I get to see. I know he has a WBC belt. So in my mind, he's been tested. We're just waiting on the results. That's it. You know, Shit don't happen overnight. Results take time. Out of 39 people, I'm sure Errol Spence is one of them. The reason I bring his name up because his fight is this weekend. It will be great to see his name come out on another list before this fight. Will eyebrows raise? Yes. That's why I say you have to ask what's the intent. Because big, bold, and big as shit, guess who name is on there? His opponent, Yordenis Ugas. You can't leave Yordenis out there by himself. I would be moving tooth and nail if I was VADA or the WBC to prompt them to get Errol name out there too. You can't. It's the optics of it all. You understand? Y'all get this man name on that list, especially when you know you took the test. We have to be able to trust it. That's why it has to chronically be consistent. If you come out with 2 lists a month, you come out with 2 lists a month. If you come out with 3, if you come out as they come in, whatever you're going to do, consistently stick to that and don't deviate. Don't let months go by that you don't have nothing. If you don't test nobody in a whole month, put that out there too. This month of July, we didn't test anyone. So we won't have a list to give you for the month of July because we didn't run any tests. Put that out. That adds to the credibility as well. Rather than us be like, oh, you came out last month. What happened in July? So I hope that article pique your interest like it did mine. Remember to hit the like button, you guys. We just want to make sure the WBC stay consistent. And then another question I could ask about that, I was like, is VADA staking their autonomy from the WBC? Like, VADA did their job. WBC dropped the ball by trying to play cover up, by playing daddy, by interfering. Was VADA happy about that? Was the VADA like, motherfucker, you told us to get with you on this and we get with you and we doing our part and here you over here sweeping shit under the rug. We ain't asked you for that. We test you. We know what's banned and what's not. You go into the punitive actions. That's all that need to be said and done. We don't need you coming up with what's allowable and that don't make sense. You don't question us. This shit is not going to work. Again, legitimacy without coercive force ain't going to stand. If VADA is not considered legitimacy, don't have the proper credentials, then why should we listen? Who cares that the WBC has a clean boxing program? They might as well not have any if VADA is to be questioned. All I'm doing by even putting this out to you guys is marking time. I've marked this time. Y'all have been marked. That's all I'm doing. So hopefully when we come back, I write it in my notes. So when I can look back physically and not on the internet to go back and say, oh, you know what? I said marking time. What was I talking about? Then that way be like, I said that shit 8 months ago. But I thought that was interesting, so I brought it to you guys. And now we're going to move on. Now, this next story, this is kind of funny. I ain't going to say funny. It's kind of weird. Has a lot of moving parts to me. And hopefully I can explain it really well. First, I'm checking on y'all. How y'all doing? Was y'all listening? What y'all, first, before we go, what y'all think about this list and accessibility to the fans of how easy it's accessible to the fans? So we can take guesswork out. We don't have to guess. If like right now, the week out before the fight, Errol Spence's name is not on there. All we can sit there and say is, we know he had to be. So It's just a matter of time. We're just waiting for his results to come. They coming. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got to worry about what somebody else say. We don't have to get all up in arms. We don't have to be upset. We don't have to believe somebody, argue somebody else's point. Just something we could do real easy. A half a second or something, you know. What y'all think about that? Y'all let me know in chat. Okay, this next story. This is kind of weird. The sport world is being severely warned about Daniel Kinahan. I hope I'm saying his name right. If I'm mispronouncing it, Mr. Kinahan, I apologize. But this piqued my interest as well. Daniel Kinahan cartel. Some of you probably never heard of him. Some of you be like, yeah, I know about this dude. But the sport world is being turned upside down because of this dude or the severity of his situation. And I'm going to try to explain it as best I could, the way it's going to make sense. This is also a potential debacle on the part of us YouTube creators, because I know, or I can feel, being an analyst, that this story will come up some kind of way and be thrown in as some kind of legitimate piece to a puzzle, when I just really want to explain just what the hell really is going on. You know, keep it in perspective, you know, and not let it take flight and mean something else or whatever, and potentially, you know, be one of those fodders for arguments and this, that, and the other. And I'm hoping we're not like that, but, you know, you just never know. Let me get on there. Okay. So, they up in arms. My only question is, what happened? What changed? What happened? Daniel Kinahan has been Daniel Kinahan for however long this man been living. Daniel Kinahan has been doing Daniel Kinahan shit for the longest. Now, make no mistakes about this. I'm not repping this guy or speaking up for this guy. I don't know him. I don't have a heaven or hell to put him in. I've heard about this man. You've heard about this man. He been who he is all this time. And now we got a problem. Okay. I asked myself, you know, I'm famous for asking the question when I always see these potential problems on the rise. Did he do something different? If so, enlighten us. I mean, we hear what the speculation say he is. I'm not in this life, never met him. He ain't even American from my understanding. Well, I could be wrong about that. I'm thinking he's not American. So he out of sight, out of mind for me. But apparently, he's part of a crime cartel. Has he always been? Was his father before him one? And he fell into the family way like that? What changed? And that's what I'm going to attempt to point out. What changed? Because I think it's important to know these things, because it will affect boxing. Remember, I don't care about much unless it bleeds into boxing. You know, I don't care about your personal life. I don't care who you fucking, who you know, who you got to deal. I don't care about none of that shit unless it bleeds into boxing and it potentially, you know, fuck up some shit we trying to have as fans. That's when I pay attention more. Who in boxing did he piss off lately? Because at first I thought he must have pissed somebody off in boxing, because they own his ass. They own them. But as I said, we been new. We been new or was told about them. But yet, it didn't stop Tyson Fury from linking up with him and breaking bread all those years. It sure didn't. But in order to understand that, you got to understand the theory or the hatred of Deontay Wilder that any white man would do. And all the white men standing around, they put their money on Tyson Fury. You remember they said shit like Deontay Wilder need to humble himself. The man is a man, a grown-ass man, who takes care of his children. He doesn't deviate from his job as a parent. He got his shit from the mud. You know what they didn't like was he's unapologetically black. And to that irritates the shit out of me. He is humble. He doesn't pick on other races. He don't downgrade whites, Mexicans, Indians, nothing. He does uplift, however, black people in as much as he could do. It's not like he's on a campaign to even do that. But they needed somebody to humble him. And any white man would have did. And in walks the most fugazi of them all, Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury been linked to Daniel Kinahan for a long time. It goes a lot to say when we talk about old cliches, and I tell you, we need to get back to living through those cliches or really putting some relevance on those old cliches. Like birds of a feather flock together. Tyson a criminal his damn self. He's a cheating ass. I was about to call him something else. He's a cheating ass motherfucker. He has no scruples. Would lie he wouldn't tell. He'll steal the shirt off your back in broad daylight in front of your face. He'll steal your baby's toys. That's the type of man he is. He has no honor. So you should have questioned anybody that aligned themselves up with him. Because people who have honor and class and integrity do not hang with people who don't. That's a fact. And Tyson been aligned with this man forever. Nobody had a problem as long as he was beating the black man. Oops, did I say that out loud? Should I say that again? They didn't have a problem with Daniel Kinahan and Tyson's Fury's affiliation with each other as long as Tyson Fury was beating the black man. Hey, no problem. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see. Go on, I say. Nothing to see here. That's how it was. That's how I saw it, at least. It did not stop Tyson from breaking bread, trying to make future deals, and this, that, and the other. It didn't even stop Team Fury from locking in with him. People like Bob Arum lock in with him. Frank Warren lock in with him. ESPN locked in with him through Bob Arum, of course. I don't want to put Disney out there like that because Disney owns ESPN. But Bob has a contract with ESPN, always had. That's Bob's network. Whomever before ESPN, Marcus and Queensberry, even Eddie Hearn. So that means Matchroom and DAZN. This man's character, or lack thereof, or his potential criminality, did not stop none of these people or entities from locking in with him. Because they had a common goal. Beat the black man, who was seen to have been impossible to stop. So when your mission It's to humble the black man, i.e. Deontay Wilder, or stop him dead in his track. We will fuck with just about anything, wouldn't we? Morals be damned. Scruples be damned. Now, the type of criminality that they said this man is into, America has always shown, or at least said, that they was against. Now, I know everything that's going on right now, everybody want to put the jacket on Joe Biden. Sometimes presidents get caught holding the bag by virtue of the fact of timing. When the shit hit the fan, it just so happened to hit the fan when you're in office. And some of y'all like, now how you going to explain this one, T? Joe Biden is a no-nonsense type guy. He the type of fella, he believe what he believe, and he don't give a fuck like what you think, because he know he's not operating out of a notion of maliciousness or nefarious intent. When you're operating out of love, in other words, I ain't saying it's love for him, but I'm just saying in love, then you really can't say you did wrong. You can make mistakes, you could be wrong, but you can't say you intentionally was trying to be wrong. Remember, always ask for the intent. What I was telling you about all those people and entities that was locked in with him, turn the other cheek to his criminality, what was their intent? We need to humble the black man. We need to humble, this, more specifically, Deontay Wilder. We can't let him walk around be the face of boxing. That'll give black people too much hope. That would go against our narrative that he ain't the goods. We need him humble, like in the worst way. So we'll sleep with snakes just to get that job done. Now, y'all must understand, heading up a criminal enterprise or being involved with criminality is not new in boxing. We know that boxing is corrupt, and we be trying to change it slowly but surely. We know back in the day, the mobsters and the gangsters, these American mobsters and gangsters, like these Italian families that had that part of our era in America, some of them was heavily or deeply involved in boxing. Not every last one. Boxing has always been a profitable sport for anybody who engaged in it. But we had some gangsters, not every gangster wanted to wet their whistle with boxing, shit. Some people got their money in other ways. And I say that to say, just because you're a criminal don't mean you're not a sport fan. Just because you do a lot of unscrupulous shit don't mean that you can't be a person and say, hey, I like to invest in this fighter, or I like to do this. Criminals have a life too. In this and engage in that and invest in this and invest in that could be on the up and up. But the fact that they're doing what they're doing, it always leave a bad taste in others' mouth or a stain on the whole organization as a whole. Because one thing about a criminal, they don't ever change their stripes. If you're head of a cartel or you doing all that type of stuff, that shit, you don't turn that shit off just because you over here talking boxing right now. Especially when you start putting your money to it, your personal money that you got ill-begotten means from, you put your money into boxing, you find a way to criminalize it or get over it. You're not going to turn off your stripes and not do it. Oh, because the sports is not the crimes that I'm usually into. So I'm going to be legit over here, but criminal over there. No. Real criminals are criminals all day, every day. They'll hustle their family. They don't even know they hustling. They can't turn that shit off. That can be true about anything you do in life. Fab G is in the building. What's poppin', King? He said that's a big fact. That's like stopping anybody associated with a person investing to bet on sports. Yeah. They, if they can find a way to edge or leverage shit to their favor, you think they're gonna say, oh nah, well, my family makes money off of trucking. But this boxing thing, we're just gonna play it on the up and up. No. They gonna pay for the inside scoop. They gonna pay for the leverage where they can get it. They gonna corrupt people. They gonna pay for people to take a dive. They gonna get shit how they want to, even if it's considered leisure for them, because that's how they are. All you gotta do is look at Trump. He couldn't even really be a legitimate president because he's such a criminal, and that's a fact. History would tell us in years to come his relevance. And believe me, and I know y'all would be shocked to hear me say it, he had relevance. He had relevance. There was a reason why he was there. Even though I would have never put him there and will never put him there, there was a reason that he was there that time. And only history will tell us in the coming years. We'll be able to glean that. But back to this bullshit. I just told you all these entities and people who was linked up, turning the other cheek when you speak of Daniel Canahan. Eddie Hearn. I'm going to tell you how that shit be with Daniel Kinahan. We know that Tyson Fury made him his manager. Frank Warren is another manager of Tyson Fury. Frank Warren and Bob Arum do unscrupulous shit. That's how they won the purse bid. I mean, they do a lot of stuff together. Ain't nothing new under the sun. ESPN probably about the only innocent bystander because Bob Arum has that contract with ESPN. We know that ESPN is one of the biggest sports entity in America, probably worldwide, but it's owned by Disney. So I'm not putting that jacket on Disney or ESPN, but by default, by their association or affiliation with Bob Arum, they get caught up in the mix. Now, to crush the stereotype, here's what we did. We turned the cheek. We turned the other cheek. Because what was Tyson Fury offering? These fellas had to have that. They had to debunk and humble Deontay Wilder. For what? Your guess is as good as mine. Deontay Wilder had the same rules put on him unofficially from these folks that Joe Louis had put on him. Joe, hey, even though you win, don't smile, don't gloat. Act plain and humble. Don't never gloat over this white man. But when the white man beats you, he can dance around, cut a jig, he can do whatever. But you better make sure, nigga, you don't do it. That might be your life. But of course we can't do things like that now. So, when y'all think about that, when it was out there that a lot of folks were saying Deontay Wilder need to humble himself. That's where that shit come from. Now, after folks get all they want, now we got a problem. Because I will ask anybody, where are Tyson Fury's fans? He didn't have that many fans. What he had was Deontay Wilder haters. Those were his temporary fans. They were haters of Deontay Wilder. So they must be for Tyson Fury because Tyson Fury going to get the job done that they need. So in the interim, we're going to be Tyson Fury fans. But where the motherfuckers at now? But now that they got shit on their fingers in my Millie Jackson voice, what they going to do with Tyson Fury bum ass? How is he an honorable mention for either your sanctioning body or boxing in general? He is the bottom of the bottom. You've had referees say he's the worst cheater they ever seen. Everybody knows he's cheated. He was banned from his own country. Couldn't even fight over there. You know what I'm saying? But now we's got a problem. Now let me duck off a little bit historically in this we's got a problem. And I'm not racist when I say this. And I would say this about us. I every day try to be an example or try to do something different, just my one little part, knowing that I can't alone make a difference, but I can do my one little part to change narratives and stereotypes of Black people, especially Black women as a whole. Like I told y'all, this might not mean shit to nobody else, but I don't watch, and I never let my daughter watch reality TV. That never played in my house. It wasn't hard to do neither. I never turned it on. Monkey see, monkey do. She didn't see her mama watching that bullshit. So guess what? We won't go watch it. Because as I'm looking at it, you would think that these bitches and hoes act like this all day. And in real life, I've never shown her, introduced her. I've never even seen myself women who act like that. And then some of these shows, these ladies were doctors, lawyers. They don't just give anybody those degrees. You know what I'm saying? You still got to take your bar exam. That shit ain't easy. By no means. So I was like, are these people acting? They faking the funk? Are they being fugazi? That's what I could glean because I know better. But an impressionable mind that never seen nothing but that would think that you walk around like that all day. I couldn't have that. I couldn't have that because guess what would happen? My daughter would imitate that shit. She could possibly think that as a woman, as a young Black woman, this is how you gotta act. Not up in here. We don't get down like that. We gonna be as civilized as we can. Now there are some stereotypes about Black people that's kind of true. Some things we do. We can all laugh at some of the shit we do that's silly and smart, you know. But I would say this about any other race. White people can have some silly and smart shit that's stereotypical about them. And some of that shit is hurtful, just like some of it's hurtful for us. So as I'm talking about that, y'all keep that in mind. This ain't no race thing. Now we's got a problem. To my white folks, to my white brothers and sisters, y'all gonna have to collectively, and I know each one of y'all gotta do y'all own little part, but the rest of the world is waiting to partner up with you on this. Y'all gotta stop destroying shit you don't understand. It's a deeper meaning behind that, but we're gonna stay on the surface with this. Stop destroying shit that you don't understand or you don't place value in. You guys do realize you're the only race that has ever extinct a group of people. Nobody else has done that. That's sad. It has happened. The white people are born today. We don't hold y'all to that. We know that's what your ancestors did. But what we will hold you to is you not learning from it, or you're seeming like you're repeating the pattern. You know, look at what's going on in Brazil. You know, they'll say, well, Brazil is not white. Brazil is dominant Portuguese from Europe, which pretty much starts as white. Brazil did not get conquered by the Moors, to my knowledge. There might have been some Moors there, but they didn't get conquered, so they white. Brazilians. They mix with Africans, of course, because the slave trade dropped off there too. But what did their president do? Y'all might think it's not a big deal. He was one of those idiots elected during the time. It was like the years of the idiot. The years of the idiot. That's what I call Trump's presidency. Because it wasn't just Trump elected as United States leader. You got Britain who had theirs. You had almost had France. You got Brazil. You got a lot of idiots around this country, the world, who was elected and given positional authority to make decisions that can be long lasting and devastating for all of mankind. Brazilian president, for whatever reason, prime minister, whatever they call him, had got the notion up his butt that he gonna destroy the rainforest. The Brazilian what they call it? The shit is another name. It escapes me. Y'all help me out. The Amazon. Now, sure, the Amazon is not ideal for me, but it is relevant to this whole earth with cars, boats, and just how we live as human beings. America, as well as other countries, pretty much the whole globe, we have a big ass carbon footprint. So, vegetation is very important. Bees are very important. The Amazon is responsible, or was responsible, for 75% of the carbon expelled on Earth. 75%. And you're cutting it down. So, who's going to be responsible for that? Because the thing that can capture that carbon dioxide and do something with it and change it, because energy is never wasted and stored, the one thing that could do something with that and flip it for the good was vegetation, i.e. plants, trees, vegetation. And you're going to cut it down. Not to mention, you're going to break the golden rule. Don't disturb certain ecosystems, especially indigenous people. There are people who live in the Amazon who've been living that way centuries ago. They don't know nothing about no cars and no planes and this technology we got today. They don't know shit about it. And you're not supposed to fuck with them. We are the ones who are contaminated. I go up in that Amazon, meet some of them people, I'll probably kill a whole race. You got to think like that. This is why these rules exist. You think that Brazilian president care about that? Nope. He's cutting half the Amazon down. So the half that he cut down, he's probably going to bring the Amazon being able to handle 35% of the world's carbon footprint. What about the other 35%? Who going to handle it? How you get rid of it? How you make good? We can't breathe it. We're destroying the land. What we gonna do? Take oxygen. Last time I checked, I don't care what race you are, to breathe. The Amazon will take in all the carbon dioxide and kick out oxygen. And your bright idea is to cut it down. But you know what they're gonna say? We's got a problem. That's all hand in hand. Black folks, Indians, Mexicans, Latinos, white folks, everybody cross the board, cross country lines. Let's all hold hands and fix this problem. And my answer to you is fuck you. No, we's don't got a problem. You broke this shit. You fix it. You know why we's can't be a part of it? Because we's is not doing it. And no matter how many times we tell you don't do shit like that, you're going to keep doing it. So the problem ain't solved. So if you going to kill us all, you just going to kill us all. Maceo Golden is in the building. What's up, Lady T? What's good, Maceo? We's got a motherfucking problem. That's an example. Now get back to Daniel Kinahan. I'm sorry, Daniel, if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. I don't mean to. With all due respect. This man has been who he is all these years, and now he's got a problem in boxing. Do I want him to be in boxing? No. But thank God somebody's administration is going to stand up to the bullshit. I think whatever he's doing, he done touched the wrong nerve on somebody's country, maybe over there in Europe and ours. Because when I think about the entities that some kind of another he disturbed, You know America ain't letting that shit go. That's what a leader does. Joe Biden, like, not on my watch. Not on my watch. Now, Trump didn't make this man be who he is. Trump didn't put the battery in his back and told him to go do this. What Trump probably did is ignored him. Probably praised him if he met him. Probably like, yo, man, yeah, you keep doing what you're doing. If Daniel Kinahan is into the criminal stuff that they say he's into, then we as America have to worry about all that money laundering and all this stuff. And how can he do it? He can do it through boxing. Anybody hear me? Did I make somebody be woke just now? That's what I think is going on. I think that's what they worried about. Now, to be clear, whenever they've been discussing this guy lately, they didn't bring up boxing, but other people who know better have. And that's how everybody's piecing this shit together. Again, remember, I don't give a fuck what somebody do. When it bleeds into boxing, I got to talk about it. You can Google all this shit. This is not secrets. I didn't put it up here because I'm going to let y'all do what y'all do. I can show you the articles, but you can do it real easy. Easy. Just type his name in, and you can see the scrutiny he under right now. Yeah. So, no, weeds don't have a problem. I would say to today's white man, stop destroying stuff. When y'all know y'all destroying the earth, stop it. And then turn around and ask everybody else to help you fix it. My answer is no. We just gonna motherfucking drown, or we motherfucking gonna choke to death. No. It's about principality at this point. You know what's wrong, you know what's right. Stop extincting shit. Not only did you extinct whole races of people, you guys extincting vegetation. How you know they ain't cure for something? How you know we ain't gonna need that shit in the future? Y'all extincting animals. It's gonna get to a point. Somebody say, oh, an elephant, and be like, there's gonna be people on this earth that have never with their eyes seen an elephant. They can only see it through a picture or a drawing. How stupid is that? We know that saber-toothed tigers existed. We'll never see one. They became extinct. That I ain't gonna say that was the white man's fault, but I'm just saying all those big ass mammoths. I would have loved to, with my eyes, seen that. You know what I'm saying? I don't necessarily wish I saw anything from the dinosaur era, because even them birds look scary. Y'all think the ostrich is the most dangerous bird, and it is to date. Probably next to a damn bald eagle. But shit, what about them condors of the past? We still got condors existing. But what about them condors and the pterodactyl? Ain't no telling. I wouldn't want to live in those times. What happened to them is not the same as what we're doing on purpose. But you let this man get in the game and you turn the other cheek because what was going to happen was favorable to what you wanted. Tyson Fury was the man for y'all. He was the answer. He was the one that's going to take down the king, i.e. Deontay Wilder. Any white man would do. So we're going to turn the other cheek while you let this man be banned from his country and be aligned with a known criminal. And you ain't had shit to say. Bob, you ain't had nothing to say. Eddie, you ain't had nothing to say. Oscar, you ain't had nothing to say. But now we's got a problem in boxing. Cut the shit. Miss me with that. You ain't think he was a problem then. Don't come up here with that bullshit. I know I can't control whatever they gonna do and how they gonna do. But hey, I'm just telling y'all what's coming down the pipe. Y'all gonna hear more about it. I'm just saying it right now. Like I said, now after folks get all that they want, we got a problem. No, y'all got a problem. I always say, why open doors and you're not sure or can handle what's on the other side. I don't understand why humans do that. A lot of people do that. My motherfucking ass is actually scared to do shit like that. I don't open doors even on stuff that feel good because I be like, damn, maybe I like it. But is that me? No, it ain't me. So I don't want to like it. I don't even want to know. If I can have the fortitude to think like that, I'm supposed to think that nobody else can have that fortitude. Ignorance and dumb is a choice. Remedial is not. Retardedness is not. But ignorance and dumb is a choice. Period. You choose to do that. Daniel Kinahan is now sanctioned, just to let y'all know. They sanctioning his ass like he a whole country. In a bad way, not a good way. Because we know you can sanction somebody and that be a good thing. Like you repping them. I vouch for them. I sanction them. I legitimize what they got. The sanctioning bodies. These are legitimate belts. But shit, this kind of sanctioning they doing is like, this motherfucker a criminal. Get him the fuck out of any and everything, including boxing. Let's talk about a couple of people that he rep or is in line or linked with him for sure and know better. They knew better. Some of these other folks I'm gonna name might not have knew better, but these two knew better. They knew going in. Tyson Fury and his whole motherfucking team. If his whole team is Bob Arum, Frank Warren, all of them, his whole motherfucking team. Josh Taylor, we know what kind of cheat he is. You know, I don't like his ass either. We know how he can get down. And he from that area. Because Daniel Kinahan, I believe, is Irish. But you know, Scotland, Ireland, UK, all that's, you know, UK, that's that area. And as I say, listen to them old cliches. Birds of a feather flock together. See how those old cliches mean something and they're relevant. Tyson Fury is a straight up cheat. He's not an honorable man at all. Josh Taylor has proved that he's not an honorable man. They both prove they have no integrity. So I'm supposed to be shocked and clutching my pearls because they're linked up with somebody who has that same status? No. So now when I think of Frank Warren, I think the same thing. Marcus in Queensbury, I think the same thing. Even Eddie Hearn. And I give Eddie Hearn praises because he's the one promoter that I would say a lot of fighters don't have problems with because he do pay his fighters. And he not cheap. He pay them decently. That's the one thing I like about Eddie. But Eddie lay in bed with Daniel too. Not literally, y'all, figuratively. I don't want to be calling nobody tenderfoot up in this bitch. And I don't know nothing about that. You know what I'm saying? So the Irish police now say that, and it's headed by some guy named Drew Harris. If you mess with or have dealings with Daniel, they are considering you. It's the Irish police. I mean, Interpol and all that good shit is involved with this dude because they own his ass. But if you mess with, you got dealings with in any kind of way, you're a part of his cartel and or criminal network. Let me say that again for the people in the back. Irish police has come out soliciting other countries' help. Interpol, all that, US, everybody. If you mess with or have dealings with Daniel Kinahan in any kind of way, they're considering you part of his cartel or his criminal network. And make no mistake about it, they're not asking or guessing, is he criminal? They telling that he is. So there's a direct link, however, big or small, to the UAE too, the United Arab Emirates, and Saudi. Now, make no mistake about them people got their own money. But having said that, those folks deal with him freely and don't care how the world feels. Why? Because they got their own money. To be clear, again, they more than likely don't need them because they are wealthy on their own volition. They got all they I don't think he got more money than them. But why do they care? It's their world. Men are dominant. What the fuck they care? It ain't nothing that Daniel could do to them that they can't do to him. Birds of a feather. Now, who is the person that's always talking about going to Dubai? Who got a hard on for motherfucking Dubai? Eddie. That's why I say Eddie turned the cheek too. Eddie know what the deal is, but money talk, bullshit walks, I guess. Daniel Kinahan is an Irish boxing promoter on the surface and a manager, amongst other things. What he really is to them, as per them, not as per Boxing Fans Talk TV, but to them, he's a criminal, head of a cartel who peddle drugs and all kinds of bad shit and launder money on a big scale. That's what he is to them. But he considers himself a boxing promoter and a manager. So that's why he dabbles in boxing. But to do that, it's a great way to launder some money. Great way to launder some money. You can get away with that real good and clean. Because we know boxing is a sum game of millions. And you can launder some boxing money. You can launder money through boxing. Cut your fighter in to turn the other cheek. You understand? Guess what U.S. entities are caught up in this because the Irish ain't playing no more. The UK ain't playing no more. And you know that we're neighbors, so to speak. And when they come calling, we come. When we call, they come. And like I said, Interpol, all that good stuff. But here in America, Homeland Security is involved. Department of Treasury, drug enforcement agencies, and the U.S. ambassador in Ireland. Just to name a few. So it got the ear of the president. And Joe is clean cut. Like, hey, we don't do that shit. Whatever is supposed to happen is gonna happen. He break the law, he fucking with our shit. Hey, we're gonna put an end to that. And they already putting sanctions on him. So anybody affiliated with him, your money might get tied up. Just to let you know that right now. So if anybody that you think is affiliated with him, you might want to rethink your position and do something else. I'm going to tell you a lot of people that's inadvertently affected by this. Inadvertently. You know what I'm saying? Like ESPN is one of them by default because Bob knows. Bob turned the other cheek too. But Bob has the contract with ESPN, not TMT. TMT don't have a contract with ESPN. Golden Boy don't. Eddie Hearn don't. PBC don't. Bob Arum do. And Bob knows what kind of man this man is. But yet, Bob even in 2020 was validating this dude's like, no, he's an honest broker. He's a good guy. Bob, his affiliation, talking about Daniel Kinahan with Bob Arum, he also has an affiliation with, indirectly, to ESPN. Sure, Disney don't like this at all. Disney ain't gonna put up with this shit. Disney own ESPN. Okay, I'm linking shit, y'all. I'm linking it. It has always been clear to me, or should be clear to us, that it had always seemed to be the case that the U.S. was not down with him from the jump. Because the U.S., look at what they did with Al Chapo. They're not down with shit, I guess. They are, but they're not. Some people in the, everybody in the U.S. government are not honest brokers. But Joe Biden ain't gonna be down with this shit. Now, how he handle it, I don't know. Is he gonna personally see to it? No. That's why he got cabinet members. That's why he got people heading up his different agencies. Let me tell you what the bounty is right now. Hold on. Y'all gonna be shocked. Right now, they're offering $15 million. This is the U.S. for good intel that leads to the rest of the Kinahans, meaning his father, him, and his brother. They offer $5 million if you can get either one. My speculation is they got involved or on the bad side of one of those agencies I just mentioned. Like, you can't fuck with the U.S. Treasury and think ain't no get back coming. If you do think you could do that, you crazy than a motherfucker. They see you coming a mile a fucking way. Don't fuck with ambassadors. That is not cool. That ain't good business right there. Drug enforcement agencies, when another country asks you for your help because they tired of the shit, you got to come running because we do it all the time. Can you help us, Colombia? Can you help us, Mexico? And they come running. And most of our homeland security. You can hang that shit up right there. Your goose is cooked. They're not taking your shit. So I don't know what the Kinahans did. I'm not in their business like that. But something happened. That's why I asked y'all to ask the question, what changed? Why is it like this? They got on the bad side of one of the damn agencies and put the spotlight on them. A lot of people think the U.S. is always in your business and looking for you. As a person who used to work for the government, no, they're not. They don't give a fuck about you. But if you want to shine light on your ass, you go ahead and do so at your own apparel. Once you do that, all bets are off. You don't shine light on you by doing stupid shit, by trying to be all in the videos, all popular, all doing, be the alpha male or female. They will breeze right past your ass. They don't give a fuck about you. They always got bigger fish to fire. But you put yourself in the limelight or place yourself in their path, you're going to get it every time. So I don't know what he did. But the probability of him laundering is so tremendous, especially when he's in the boxing game. And that's what the appeal of going to Dubai is all about, in my opinion. Now, this is an opinion, it's speculation. But I told y'all I'm good with this shit. I'm good at speculating. I've been formally trained. And I ain't trying to toot my own horn. I've been formally trained in other ways, but if you're formally trained as an analyst, you're formally trained as an analyst. That's what Dubai means to me. Everybody from this day forward who want to big up Dubai and want to go over there, my eyebrows is raised. I don't care who you are. That's a money grab. If I never saw one, whether it be legal or illegal is another word. It's another thing. And that's where my speculation gonna end, because I don't care. I ain't getting a cut, and I don't want a cut. But that's what I would tell you guys. That would be my speculation advice. Every time you hear the bot, raise that eyebrow. Then let me tell you a group of people that I think indirectly got caught up in the mix. Somebody named Michael Conlon. I don't even know who that is. Billy Joe Saunders. MTK Global. JoJo Diaz. Golden Boy. Bud Crawford. Jamel Herring. Jack Catterall. Savannah Marshall. Liam Smith. Bob Arum. Now, as of date, Bob is severing ties with all that shit. He on the let me get away from this nigga tip. Pro Bellum. Now, I say these people inadvertently. They may know, they may not know. We'll never know. Y'all even heard me call out Bud because it was rumor, and I say rumor because I've never seen no proof that he signed with MTK Global at one time as a person to get advice from. I don't know. I've never seen proof. I don't know if I ever seen that he admitted to it. I try to look for it because, Bud, my guy. But I don't know. But I'm being fair. That was the rumor a while back. I don't know if that ever became true because I have put out, the Mac Mob have put out who Bud actually did sign with. Won't MTK. It was Intro Box, i.e. Bally Sports, i.e. the old Fox Sports. That's who Bud is signed with, in partnership with, as a promoter. The MTK was rumored along the same way that fucking PBC and these people putting out that Bud is signed a two fight deal with PBC and now have since turned down Keith Thurman. It is crazy as shit where that fucking shit came from. I offered yesterday, and it still stands today. I will give somebody $50 cash out if they can prove that Bud ever signed with the PBC. $50 cash out. No questions. Don't come in here with no fugazi ass source, because that's what I'm going to be on. What's your source? In fact, I probably seen a thumbnail or something that said Bud said, no, I didn't. But I ain't for sure. So I really can't put that out. You see how easy it is to say, I'm not for sure. I think I seen it. I'm guessing. But I heard that rumor. I never saw proof. L Dub is in the building. What's poppin', King? What's good? But all these people, Golden Boy, Bob Arum, Frank Warren, Marcus in Queensbury, Eddie Hearn, all of them knew. All of them knew. These fighters, they might be caught up in the mix. Pro Bellum, they just started last year. Headed by a respectable, honorable guy in Richard Schaefer. Golden Boy wouldn't have been shit without Richard Schaefer. You might as well say Golden Boy was Mayweather promotion. As Mayweather said, oh, you line them up, I knock them down. You might as well call me the Golden Boy because I done beat everybody on your squad. They made money. Floyd is the billionaire that he is today because of working with Golden Boy and HBO and later Showtime. But that was all under Richard Schaefer. So when Richard Schaefer went to Pro Bellum, I was like, oh, this is legit. This is up and up. Because the respect that I gleaned from him, from how he gets down. He seems like a respectable, honorable, no-nonsense guy. Oscar was lucky to have him. Pro Bellum would be lucky to have him. But hey, if they mixing it up with Daniel Kinahan, that was just an unfortunate move that they just took because Daniel Kinahan is on everybody's shit list right now. And we learned in the lawsuit between Heredia and Kinahan, where he was suing them for acquiring JoJo Diaz on the sneak in some kind of nefarious way. And in court, Kinahan proclaimed, in fact, he was emphatic. I don't got shit to do with MTK. Like, he could prove it. He emphatically denies any involvement with MTK. And I guess he could prove it. But he apparently stole JoJo Diaz from this guy Heredia. Because there is a lawsuit, or was a lawsuit. I didn't look to see how that lawsuit ended. So, all that to say, y'all heard me cooking on this. What y'all think? Y'all tell me. I mean, y'all probably be like, Miss T, damn, you went deep. or you got deep. But the problems that this man is facing is going to bleed into boxing. There's going to be stories, subsidiaries, stories bouncing off of this guy alone because his hands is in everything. A lot of people broke bread with him and turned the other cheek of what type of guy he really was, and they're not taking his shit no more. What kind of move he did to put the spotlight on him, I don't know. I don't care. That's way above my pay grade. But I will say, if you're signing with Pro Bellum, like Regis Prograis just signed with Pro Bellum. If Pro Bellum is in bed with this guy, Regis Prograis, by indirectly, is in bed with this guy. But I wouldn't blame Regis Prograis. He wouldn't have known. He just thought, Pro Bellum, it's a good deal. They offer me what I need and want. Nobody's stopping to ask, where are you getting your money from? And as I say, boxing provides a unique opportunity for people like that to launder their money, to make clean, to make legitimize. And they put out emphatically, if you dealing with them, if you're fucking with that pimping, you are a part of that network, i.e. that cartel. That's how we're going to look at you. That's how the Irish police going to look at you. That's how the Interpol is going to look at you. That's how America is going to look at you. And if he's that knee deep into boxing, we got some problem. We got a problem in boxing, period. Some people going to inadvertently get caught up and get hurt. But that's their problem that they got to fix. Because the people who have the power and the money and the influence to put all that shit together, those are the choices they made. Do I think that Bob gonna wind up going to jail or be, whatever? Bob gonna lose some shit. Eddie gonna lose some shit. A lot of them gonna fall off some kind of way because guilt by association. That's coming, y'all. That's coming. And I will keep watching this story to update as necessary. But as I read it, and this is what I gleaned. It is a fact that he's on people's shit list. They own him. It's a fact that people are offering millions of dollars for information to get at him. That is a fact. Dubai does offer a way for you to launder some money legitimately. So you got to raise the eyebrow at everybody who wants to holler Dubai. I'm not talking about Floyd pending fight. Floyd had his money. He don't got to go through all that. But Eddie Hearn always want to take shit to Dubai. Why? Doesn't even make sense. What's in Dubai? The average woman on her own volition is not traveling to Dubai. Maybe somebody so rich that she gonna have the protection or get back. I'm not going there. I hate to put this jacket on all the men over there. Women are second class anyway, probably fourth class. Why would I go to a country that advocates and promotes that? I wouldn't. How is that fun for me? I can see where it's fun for a man, but I'm not going to spend a dime that I make going over there. So how is boxing going over there and being held over there advantageous to the fans or good for the fans? The time zone alone makes it difficult. You can't have a live fight going on over there at a reasonable time over here. And watching it live, that's boxing is one of the things you rather watch it live. Just like basketball games and all. You don't want to come back like a TV show and watch it later. You want to watch that shit live. That's where you're gonna make your most money. I'm not paying to be at 4:00 in the morning to watch no goddamn fight. Why would Eddie Hearn always advocate for Dubai? Makes me raise my eyebrow. I wonder how y'all feel about it. But I mean, I just wanted to put that out there. I don't know how y'all feel about it. I thought it was interesting, and that's the best way I can break it down. And as I said before, if I have amplifying information later, I will add that. If I'm wrong, I will come back and say I'm wrong. To be clear, I don't know anything about this man's business as far as criminality. I don't know. I only know what I read. I'm not accusing him. He's an alleged criminal. Let me say it like that because this is what people allege. But I do know it's a fact that he has a bounty, that 15 million or 5 million for each one is, for leading to information. I do know that. I do know that Bob Arum is now severing ties with him. I do know that they're advocating that anybody who's in bed with him business wise, you are part of their cartel or their network. And I do know if you call yourself a legit business, that's not something you want to do. These are things I can say I know. Whether he pumped drugs in the UK or whatever, I don't know that. I know that that's what they allege he does. Or maybe he does that in the US. But I do know that Tyson Fury has been linked with him for years, and nobody cared as long as Tyson Fury beat Deontay Wilder and humbled the black man. They didn't care. Now he's a disgrace. It's so bad that they don't even nobody. I don't even think Mauricio Suleiman wants him to be a representative of the WBC belt. They making moves and shit. I think I got an article for that too. Hold on. They making moves. Look. Nah, not Tyson Fury. The WBA seems determined to get rid of Josh Taylor as its 140-pound champion. Taylor owns all 4 major titles, but the WBA continues to press the case for Alberto Puello, the undeserving WBA mandatory contender. The WBA has now scheduled a purse bid at the ridiculous unfavorable split for Taylor, virtually guaranteeing that Taylor will vacate the WBA title and allow Puello to fight someone else for the vacated title. As of right now, that could mean Puello versus WBA number 2, Ismael Barroso, for a vacant title. Here is the WBA's announcement of the April 22nd purse bid, with only 55% of the winning bid allocated for the world champion. And I know y'all say, Ms. T, I don't see that. So let me share the screen. So you know I did not make it up. Y'all see that? Y'all see that first paragraph? Y'all can read that. I'm going to give you a second to read that. I just read it. So you know I ain't making it up. But what's significant about him? How does that tie into what I just said? I'll tell you how. Josh Taylor is linked to this guy too. Those were the 2 main people that has been linked with him and know they link with him. They know who they link to. And look how the WBA acting about Josh Taylor. Why would the WBA dislike Josh Taylor? For the robbery of Jack Catterall? If the WBA felt that strongly about robbery, why they was dragging their feet about Mikhail Fox? We got to ask these questions, y'all. Don't forget to hit the like button. I'll give y'all a couple more seconds to read that. L-Dub, did you hear anything about this stuff I'm talking about? Macy, are you quiet as a church mouse? I put the link. No, that's not the link. Damn, hold on. If anybody got something to add to it, I put the link right there in the chat. If this is computing to anybody, jump in. Tell me what you think. See, this type of shit pick up, my spidey senses pick shit up like this. You know, y'all gonna hear about certain things, and y'all gonna see certain moves coming down the pike, and y'all gonna wonder where it come from. What's really going on? See, Dillian White ain't advertising. Could that be the reason why he ain't even advertising, showing up to press conferences, doing anything to promote this fight? Because he know who all tied up in it. Plus, I attribute it to them not paying him fairly. Could it be that he don't want a record of him ever dealing with any of this stuff? And Dillian White's name was on the list, by the way. Let me make sure of those fighters that I named. Did I say Dillian White? No, I didn't. Maybe that's what he's doing. We just didn't know. What y'all think? Let me know in the chat. I know I did this thing like a historical thing. Y'all probably be like, what the hell? But yeah, it has some relevance to boxing, y'all. I promise. What y'all think? You know, before I move to the next subject. But y'all saw it. I didn't make that shit up. Why would you be mad at Josh Taylor? What did he do? He didn't fix the fight for himself. Somebody else had to. We know that Jack Catterall beat his ass, but is that a reason for the WBA to be like, man, let go of my belt? You are not a good representation of it. Since when do the WBA or any belt be pressed to do some shit like that? They make money with Josh Taylor. Y'all let me know. I'm going to move on, but feel free to chime in. In other news, the Bella has appointed IMG, whoever IMG is, to sell global media rights to the Devin Haney and George Kambosos fight. Now, we getting it in ESPN, and to my knowledge, the American fans will be able to watch it just on ESPN. That may change. That's what I heard thus far. So they carrying the fight for the U.S., so that's how we'll see it. Foxtel is carrying it for Australia, and they got to pay to see that. As far as globally, IMG, I guess, is going to be responsible for selling that fight. I just thought, I'll put that out there. That's the only news I have about that. That they soliciting IMG to sell their rights or rights to the fight or sell it worldwide. In other news, it's been approximately 30 months since Errol Spence has fought. I think at least around with Danny Garcia or something. That's a long time out the ring. I didn't know that. I read that and I was like, ooh, that's interesting. His fight coming up this weekend. We're going to see what that ring rust do. Remember, Errol Spence claims, or he states, that tune-ups are for people who are unsure of themselves. Most people who've been that long out the ring could do with a tune-up, but we ain't trying to hear it as fans because we know we want the Crawford and Errol Spence fight. So, that's what it is. And I'm going to tell y'all a rumor. The last but not least, I'm going to tell y'all about this rumor. And I repeat, it's a rumor, it's a rumor, it's a rumor. This is how easy it is to be on the up and up with your audience or whatever. You say a rumor, you say I'm speculating, you say I'm guessing. You don't have to clickbait. You don't have to put nothing out like it's actual factual. Like I'm going to keep hopping on this 2-fight deal with the PBC. If I'm wrong, I'll come back and say, This 2-fight deal that I've been sitting back listening to that Bud had, and then he so-called turned down a fight with Keith Thurman. That was never the case, y'all. It was never the case. He never signed with the PBC. That was not even a rumor. That was just a lie. But the rumor here lately, whether it come to fruition, I don't know. But it would be good for boxing, I think. I don't know what y'all think. We know that AB is trying to make a comeback. We thinking or we hearing that he may be back in the summer. We don't know. I'm sure he'll have something like a tune-up fight or whatever. But after Tank deal with Rolly, and we all assuming that Tank is going to beat Rolly, unless something bad happen. But if Tank gets past Rolly, and AB get past whoever he's going to have his tune-up with in this summer, they thinking maybe mix Tank and AB together for a pay-per-view. Tank would be out of Mayweather's contract. I don't know. We don't know if Tank is going to depart from Al Heyman, since I don't think he's unhappy with Al Heyman. He may stay with Al. But AB and Tank, and we know that AB has worked with Al. That, let me tell you, PBC, and hopefully y'all would have fixed y'all Earl Spence Crawford situation by then. The minute you do, I'm back on board. But not a minute sooner. But shit, if y'all put AB and Tank together, and they're talking probably early next year, maybe at the earliest, the end of this year, but I think they're talking about like January, February next year. If y'all can put Tank and AB, again, it's a rumor, but it seemed like a credible rumor, or it could be. We don't know. I don't know. It's a rumor. But I read this. If they could put AB and Tank together, that is a motherfucking pay-per-view right there. That right there is a pay-per-view. Because no matter how messed up and the shenanigans AB find himself in, the motherfucker is a draw. You can't deny that. And as Leonard Ellaby love to say, Tank's a star. At times he is. Now his last outing, no. But everybody can have a bad night. But Tank do put asses in the seat too. That right there is a hellified pay-per-view. What y'all think about that? Now PBC, if you can pull that shit off, you done found a good thing. I will tell you that straight up. That will do well. And if you, at that time, have fixed your Earl Spence Crawford situation, you can count on Miss T to put her money where her mouth is. I will definitely be back on board buying PBC fights. But not a minute sooner. You know what you got to do before I get on board. It's about principality in this motherfucker. But that's all I had, y'all. I'm at 2 hours. And hopefully you guys like the information that I put out. If you missed the front part of the show, go back and watch it, because we was talking about a clear, easy, Googleable. I made up a word, Googleable, but a Google tool that all of us can use instead of guessing and speculating. That it seems like the WBC has a WBC logo on it. It seems legit that they're going to be putting out several times a month who in their stable has complied with the clean body program, because they took the test and the results of the test. They gave out 2 lists this month of March. And for those of you who came late, I will read them again. Out of 39 people who participated, these are the people who they say have been tested and passed with flying colors. Starting February 8th, Mansour Elsaab, Eslaeb. March 2nd, Dillian White has done the test and passed. March 3rd and 9th, Tyson Fury has done the test and passed. March 5th, Roman Gonzalez has done the test and passed. March 5th, Julio Cesar Martinez has done the test and passed. March 9th, Shakur Stevenson. We know he got a fight coming up April 30th with Oscar Valdez. March 9th, he has done the test and passed. March 13th, Alicia Baumgarten has done the test and passed. That was the first test that they released in March out of the 39. March 18th, Yordanis Ugas has done the test and passed. March 18th, Adelaide Ruiz has done the test and passed. March 19th, Brian Brown has done the test and passed. March 21st, the other piece to the puzzle of Shakur Stevens' pending bout, Oscar Valdez has done the test and passed. March 21st, Dillian White has done the test and passed. So they got a fight coming up, and both of them have done the test and passed. March 21st, Tyson Fury for the third time. But you know, he can do it every day of the week. You got to be on his ass. Has done the test again and passed. March 21st and 25th, this is a big one to me. Jermell Charlo has done the test and passed. March 22nd, Maricela Cornejo has done the test and passed. March 23rd, Shakur Stevens again has done the test and passed. And March 24th, Jerron Ennis has done the test and passed. And remember, anybody who's in line to fight for the WBC belt, receive the belt, or got the belt has to participate and voluntarily all year round in the clean boxing program as per the WBC. So if they're going to start putting out this list on the regular, that's a good thing. I did put the link in the chat where you guys can go find it yourself. I'm highlighting it right there. That is the link. You guys can click that link at your leisure and you'll see what I saw. Maybe they've been doing this. If they've been doing this and Miss T just missed it, I apologize. But I have never seen it. So I thought it was noteworthy to bring it to you guys. But when you know better, you do better. See, that takes away speculation. So when you hear people say, oh, this person got to be on some shit, just go to the list. You know, it's not going to be as fast. It's not going to come out in the time that you want it to come out. You know, because again, as I said, they said 39 people. The people I just read off, that's not 39 people. So as they get the results, I'm sure they're going to trickle those results in. But I find it interesting, a week out, Saturday is Spence and Ugas fight. And the only people they want to give legitimacy to right now, or I can say want to give, only people that they gave, because that's what happened. We got to say they gave legitimacy to is Yordanis Ugas as far as the test. That is the nearest fight that's coming up. And as far as the WBC and VADA, Yordanis Ugas took the test and passed. The only other, his opponent, Errol Spence, we're waiting to see. Doesn't mean that Earl didn't do it. It just means that his results didn't come out yet. And it may come out any minute now. They're not saying how many times they're going to release a list. They told us how many they did in March, 39. So hopefully before the fight, all 39 will be put out. We may even get results after that fight. So it's not like it's real time getting the results or whatever. But that's their effort of being transparent. We got to applaud it. I feel I have to applaud it. We'll see where they go. Now, I also suggested WBC, if you're listening, VADA, if you're listening, on the months that you didn't do any tests, put that out too. If you're going to be legit all the way. Hey, July, we did not do any tests on anyone, so we have no results to give you. That way, we take away speculation, y'all. We take away clickbait. We take away a lot of shit from, potential narratives and propaganda and bullshit being put out. We don't have to guess and speculate. But that's all I have for you guys today. Anybody want to add anything to that, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. If you watch me on playback on replay, make a comment. Tell me, did you like the information? Tell me that you didn't like the information. Tell me whatever you want to tell me. Comment. I do listen. I am open-minded. And, I'm still going to be me. Don't matter what you say, but I'm still going to be me. But I am a person that has an open mind. Thank you for watching. And remember, when you know better, you'll do better. Anybody? Give a couple of seconds. Anybody who want to add anything or take away anything? When you know better, you do better. Peace.